Hey everybody! Welcome, 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 welcome everyone. Um, Welcome back to the shenanigans that are the United States. Um, Welcome back to the shit show that is America. Welcome back to insanity. Welcome to the WWE. Okay? Welcome to another episode of Succession. I feel like we are just in a time. We are in a time where the party is over for a lot of things. First, I want to say hey to everybody. Hi. Hey, Toya. Yes, we're in WWE, girl. This is giving WWE. This is giving WrestleMania. This is giving, our next bout is an Alabama street fight. That's what it's giving. That is what it's giving. First, I want to thank everybody for joining. We have a lot to discuss, so just a heads up, we're going to be talking about, of course, the Alabama boat brawl. We're going to talk about Ron DeSantis' terrible campaign and how it's basically falling apart at the seams. We're also going to talk about the national teacher shortage, which I find interesting. And, of course, we'll give you the latest updates on Donald Trump's third indictment. I mean, at this point, he gets indicted every goddamn week. Like, to this point, like, when is he going to jail? Like, the indictments is just too much at this point. So we got a lot to cover. Now, first, the elephant in the room, bitch. The elephant in the room. This boat fight. Now, unless you've been literally, in a hidden bunker in the Midwest out in, the wild, you have seen this boat fight. This boat brawl is giving SummerSlam, bitch. It's giving Royal Rumble. It was giving, WrestleMania 39. It was giving a lot, okay? So, but I want to break down a few things here. I want to break down a few things because, that's what we do here. So, in case you missed it, bitch, because, you late. So far, 3 men have been charged with assault in the Montgomery, Alabama boat brawl. The men are among 13 people initially detained following the melee, okay? So out of the 13, 3 have been charged with assault, okay? So, this is coming from USA Today. 3 men have been charged with assault following a brawl that broke out on a dock in Alabama and went viral. One of the 3 men charged was in custody and the other 2 were set to turn themselves in on Tuesday, said Montgomery Police Chief Daryl J. Albert, who added that more charges are likely. Police are still seeking a man seen hitting multiple people with a folding chair during the brawl, which happened in Montgomery's Riverfront Park on Saturday night and saw 13 people detained in the aftermath. Albert said the brawl began when a co-captain, so we thought he was the security guard, bitch. And I feel some kind of way about us automatically thinking that the black man was the security guard, bitch. Why can't he drive the boat? Why can't he drive the black? I'm just saying, everybody thought he was the security guard. It was given top flight in the uniform, but come to find out he was the co-captain. Another thing, too. Mr. Folding Chair, he is gone. Like, Mr. Folding Chair is probably hiding out some goddamn where. Okay? He's not going to be, like, Mother Folding Chair he's legendary. Mother Folding Chair is iconic. But what I will say is, Mother Folding Chair, just go in and turn yourself in, because your legal fee is going to be handled. Okay? Make no mistake about it. Mother Folding Chair, he going to be straight. Mother Folding Chair is going to be okay. It's not going to be no huge problems with Mother Folding Chair. He's going to be good to go, okay? So what happened was Okay, so the police chief said the brawl began when the co-captain of an Alabama River cruise ship, the Harriet II, tried to dock at its designated spot but was blocked by a private boat. Now, first thing here is this. You know, you got a big-ass cruise ship full of black people. Y'all already know how black people feel about boats, large boats at that, and being stuck out at sea. Okay? That's already too much for us. So you got these people sitting here, okay, on the river, black people, okay, on a boat, trying to dock. Already problematic. It's giving triggers, bitch, we're ready to get off, okay? The captain of the Harriet, okay, remained away from the dock for nearly 40 to 45 minutes as he attempted to contact the operators of the private boat via PA system. They were only responded to with what I've seen as gestures, curse words, and taunting. So, you know, former security guard, now captain, we got to change his title on the show. He was trying to find these people that, you know, get them to move that was on this little ass boat. So basically you got the cruise ship the Love Boat trying to contact Gilligan's Island boat, and Gilligan's Island is trying it and putting middle fingers up at the Lido deck and shit. And I'm like, girl, what the fuck is going on? So he was trying to find them. A different boat picked up the co-captain, identified as Damian Pickett, and brought him to the pier so he could try to talk to the owners of the private boat to allow Harriet to dock and its 227 passengers to disembark. So, you know shit was bad when this man is trying to get his boat to dock, and another boat say, hold the fuck up, like, bruh, what's going on? Another boat had to come pick him up, bring him to the dock to get these people to move. Meanwhile, they sitting on that little ass yachter, boat, whatever the fuck you want to call it, with their teeth out all drunk up and shit, because they own a couple gas stations or mini markets, so whatever the fuck it is they own. It's not going to be in business that much longer anyway. To try to get them to embark. Several people associated with the private boat attacked Pickett after they exchanged words for several minutes. That's when passengers of the Harriet II came to Pickett's defense. Police arrived to the scene shortly thereafter and detained 13 people. All those detained were taken to police headquarters for questioning and interviews, which lasted several hours. Everyone was released pending the investigation. Now here's the gagger. A 16-year-old boy who works on the boat that took Pickett to the dock also was hit during the fight, Albert said. His mother actually went and signed warrants on one of those individuals, okay? Now, in the video footage, I ain't never seen, you know, part of me, you know, I don't condone violence or anything like that, even though I am a licensed gun owner, but that's just for my own personal protection. Part of me does not condone violence, but only when it's not provoked. See, here's the thing. When you put your hands on people for doing their job, that's when it becomes sketch. It becomes problematic. And I ain't never seen black people connect like Voltron in this capacity ever on film in my life, bitch. Like, it was given Wakanda Forever. It was given Dora Milaje, bitch. They was the fucking Power Rangers. The Megazord came the fuck out. And then the young man that swam, first of all, I think that the young man that swam, he gagged me, and it was so symbolic because I think about, and yes, I'm going to bring race into it because this is obviously a racial situation. There's no way I can dance around that. So if you follow me and you like how neutral I am, I'm still going to be neutral, but bitch, we are going to call a thing on this broadcast, bitch. It was giving very much retribution. It was given very much, I felt like our ancestors was vindicated because, you know, many of our ancestors who came over here on ships against their will to work for free died jumping over them boats. And to see a black child, a teenager, swim and not even second guess it, like with ease, bitch, with ease to go and assist this man in this brawl. It was so symbolic and it was so ironic to me. The irony in that was not lost on me, okay? But here's the thing. Here's the thing. We already know they was wrong for putting their hands on the man, okay? We already know they was wrong. But then, my executive producer, she knows who she is. I'm not going to say her name because then it's going to go to her head. But anyway, my researcher, hey Roz, sent me something that I thought was interesting in regards to boat rules. This isn't, what this is called the law of gross tonnage. It's not a per se on the books written rule, but it's a nautical rule that people who boat in the maritime industry just follow, and they just, it's one of those things that's like, girl, it's common sense. So, the law of gross tonnage. The law, which is more common sense than explicitly written in the code, and this is coming from AmericanBoating.org, goes like this. The heavier vessel always has the right-of-way. This is based on simple Newtonian physics. Newton's first law talks about objects in motion stay in motion unless another force is acted upon it. Yes, bitch, I'm taking y'all to the fucking classroom on this shit because I need to let y'all know, for the people who gonna comment on this video and call us savages and thugs, I need you to understand the science of why you got your motherfucking ass beat. Now, in other words, if a boat is moving east at 5 mph and you were in the vacuum of space, it would never stop traveling east at 5 miles per hour. However, we all know when we stop our engine on our boat, we slow down. How long it takes to go from 5 miles per hour to 0 depends on the wind and current. Even if there is no wind or current, we still slow down because the water itself provides friction upon the hull of the boat, and that in itself acts as a brake. We have all observed that the bigger the object, the longer it takes to slow down. Newton's second law of physics talks about how the amount of force required to move an object is inversely proportional to the mass of the object. So if a tug and a barge were traveling down a narrow channel and you stopped your boat 1,000 feet away, right in front of the tug and the barge, and if the master of the tug saw you immediately, and if the master of the tug immediately began to stop the tug and barge, you'd have less than 1 minute to move your vessel. If you didn't move your vessel in less than 60 small seconds, the tug and barge would just run right over you. It would be impossible for the master of the tug to stop based on the collective mass of both the vessel and the barge in 1,000 feet. The law of gross tonnage is unrelenting. It is a fact of life. Another fact of life is that you should not depend on the master of the tug or any other large vessel to be able to see you, either visually or on the radar. So, bitch, I'm giving you a scientific reason why you got your motherfucking ass beat. Because if he wasn't breaking, bitch, if he wasn't in control, he really could have just ran y'all the fuck over in that little ass Gilligan Islands vessel, and it would have been ding ding night the fuck night. Okay? So scientifically, according to the law of gross tonnage, bitch, according to Newtonian physics, bitch, y'all was wrong any motherfucking way. So in case you whores, and see, y'all got me coming out my mouth, I got my teeth out, they done got me worked up because I was trying to keep it cute on this fucking broadcast. I swear to God, that's why I took my time getting to this. Okay? Scientifically, you deserve to get your ass beat. Because if you didn't, he could have ran y'all over. If he didn't have control of that vessel, he could have ran y'all the fuck over. And then it would have been, oh my God, man who captain of cruise ship, cruise crew, runs over small vessel. And they would have painted this shit like them people wasn't doing nothing. They wasn't all drunk the fuck up. They wasn't all being insubordinate. It would have just been like, oh my God, this boat full of black people ran this boat, this little tiny boat of white people over. And you know, the reason why I'm going in on this is because if the story had went that way, the right-wing extremists in politics would have took this story and fucking ran with it. And we'd have been painted as, oh, first thing would have happened. He would have been the captain, co-captain, the stewardess, the motherfucker that cleaned the bathrooms on the boat would have all be taken down to do a drug test because they'd have swear to God that they was fucking high. And I hate that I'm coming out my mouth right now, but I gotta do it like this. I can't even, like I was trying to say like, oh, you know, every time I do these meetings, every time I do this research, I always try to come seeing both sides. I always come trying to give the caveat, the what if. But what I'm learning is that sometimes in life, and as I'm getting older, there is no caveat. There is no what if. You were just wrong. And the minute that we as a country, we as adults, we as people, start to recognize that sometimes you were just wrong, we can solve a lot of issues. But the problem is nobody wants to be wrong, even when they are dead wrong. And in this case, you should have never put your hands on that man. You should have never did it. There was no need for it. And I know what the defense going to be. Oh, we was on a boat. We had been drunk. You know, we was drinking. We was having a good time. We were under the influence. You think them motherfucking black people in that cruise ship wasn't drunk and under the influence? They was on a cruise ship, bitch. You know they was on there throwing back boom, sperm, and all kinds of wine coolers and shit. That don't give you an excuse to just attack somebody for doing their job. It's crazy. And shout out to the 16-year-old boy who swam across. From what I understand, they started a fund for him. And he got so much money from the fund, he made a statement from what I understand. This is where I'm going to blame my executive producer if this is wrong, bitch. That he made a statement saying, you know, in so many words, he appreciates the money. He doesn't need any more money. He has enough to take care of books and everything like that. And I'm going to say this to him. If you did make that statement, do not turn down no goddamn money. Okay? You got a college fund you got to take care of. Capitalize off of this, bitch. Take all the funds you can. That's how I know you're a baby. Because, see, an adult ain't going to be that stupid. We not doing that. We taking the goddamn money. Okay? But I wanted to look into this, and this is why I wait sometimes. I know y'all be like, oh, he ain't speak on it yet. What's going on? But this is why I wait. And like I said, it was wrong anyway when you look at the video footage. There's no way to really justify that. But as you have just heard, we've just talked about scientifically, you were fucking wrong. According to Newtonian physics, bitch, you deserve to get your motherfucking ass beat. Okay? You deserve to get your ass beat. Now, this teacher shortage. Now, I made a post today. Y'all, because you know I'm busy on Facebook and social media in general. So I made a post today because I was watching, you know, the news. I was watching MSNBC, right? And they were talking about this national teacher shortage. And I was like, oh my God, like to the point where students are getting letters, parents are getting letters of students saying that they don't have a teacher assigned to your child yet, but they're working on it. Like, bitch, I didn't know the school system was fuckbuckers, bitch. I didn't know you had to get your little beeper and wait for your little buzzer to go off for you to get an education. But evidently, shit has just gotten so bad that people don't want to teach. Now, here's the thing. Here's my thing. I'm going to read a piece of this article because, I always want to come with the statistics and the facts and shit. But then I'm going to give you my goddamn opinion. Okay? So, this guy, Daniel Gecker, who is on the Board of Education in Virginia, voted for an online certification plan. Said he agreed only because the program is a 3-year pilot and an opportunity to gather data. We are in the middle of a fairly significant teacher shortage, Gecker said in the interview. Having the online trained teachers is better than having the untrained subs we've been having. He said that before COVID-19, it probably would have been possible to make up the teacher gap with better retention. Post-pandemic, the gulf is just too wide. We can't fill it with better retention and people coming out of school. Virginia is just one of the latest states to turn to for-profit teacher certification companies in an effort to recruit and train more teachers. The states hope the new path to certification will help ease the shortages, but opponents argue those who take the programs are not as well trained as traditionally credentialed teachers and will do a disservice to students. States have other options to address the teacher shortage, including lowering standards to try to bring in more recruits. Education Week reported last year that about a dozen states have relaxed credentialing standards for teachers or were considering doing so. California lawmakers decided in 2021 to allow aspiring teachers to eliminate 2 exams as long as they had taken courses to address basic skills and the subject matter that they intend to teach. We about to get a whole generation of dummies, y'all. A whole generation of dummies. Why? Because don't nobody want to be no teacher, man. Don't nobody want to be no teacher. So here's my take on this. Because a few people, a few parents, they got upset with me. First of all, I have a problem when people say, you can't speak about parenting or, kids if you don't have children. Well, bitch, who you think teaching these kids? The teachers that they are getting are fresh out of college, ain't got no goddamn kids. Just because I didn't give birth to some child or I didn't raise some child doesn't mean I don't get human interaction. Okay? And I'm going to keep it funky with y'all. I was a teacher's aide for about a year or two. Not very long in my past. I've been a Renaissance man. I've done a lot of things. And I'm going to tell you something. I didn't really get involved in the teacher conferences. I just would attend and, things like that. But I can say with my own eyes, every parent-teacher conference was a confrontation. And that's if they showed up. That's if they showed up. And I'm sorry, they don't pay teachers enough to deal with this shit. And you would have thought that post-COVID, people would be better at that and dealing with teachers and people would want to give teachers more pay. Because I can count, I don't even have enough limbs, fingers, hands to count how many people I saw on social media complaining because they had to homeschool their child. Now, I'm not a parent. I don't have kids. I have no desire to have children. That is not my lot in life. But you did. You did. Whether it was by accident or by choice, you have children. Nobody wants to be going to... There's several things here. First off, let's look at several pictures. It's people that are correctional officers that make more money than teachers. Nobody wants to go to work. Let's think about what a teacher does. They got to do a lesson plan. They got to grade papers. They got to actually teach for 8 hours or 7 hours, however long school is in session. Then they got to work after your child leaves and goes to fuck home and watches cartoons and not do the homework that they done spent a whole summer creating for their ass. To grade papers. Get ready for the next day. They're not getting paid for that. And then half the time they gotta buy supplies because the schools don't have the money and don't have the right shit to adequately teach these kids and stimulate them in a way that they need to be stimulated. Now you playing with what they can teach. You're banning books. You can't read this book. I can't have this book. I don't want this book. And I find it funny, and I know I'm getting ready to hit a nerve with this one, but I find it hilarious that we banning books. We don't want any pride or LGBTQ shit in school, but you have no problem with your child getting shot the fuck up every other month. But the drag queen reading the story is where the buck stops. Oh, we can't have this shit. Now, we can bring an AK-47 up in this bitch and take my child's life. But Miss Utz in a nasty finger wave wig is where we stop. That's where we draw the line. And newsflash. Some of the best teachers that I had in school were LGBTQ people. And I'm going to tell you, they didn't groom me. In fact, they helped me because they helped me stay in the closet. Because they knew I was gay. They never came off to me wrong. They never said nothing crazy out their mouth. If anything, they were the kindest. They paid for field trips when my mother couldn't fucking afford it. They gave me inspiration. They taught me about the arts. And they taught me about class. And I know I'm saying some shit out my mouth right now that may make you feel like I don't have class. But I'm a very classy bitch. And a lot of that is due to the education that I got in school. You know why your children are getting the education that they got now? Because teachers don't want to argue with the child and you, bitch. Here, I'm telling you this. With a pimple on my goddamn cheek, you're fucking part of the problem, parents. But y'all don't want to hear that. And I'm going to tell you something. I could never be a full-time teacher. Because the minute you get in my face, I'm going to catch a case. And that's the bottom line. Your child not going to be yelling, getting up in my face up in school. Your child not going to be putting their hands on me. Because I got something in the trunk for you and now. Play with me if you want to. $65,000 is not enough. After taxes, then buying material, it's not enough. Accounting for inflation, it's not enough. And that's not that teacher's fault that you able to make it work on $30,000. I don't know who making it work on $30,000 now in this economy. But that ain't got shit to do with that teacher. And then on top of that teacher paying for materials, in some cases buying lunches for children who can't afford it, they got to take care of their own lives. Like, I don't understand what's the disconnect. We worried about the wrong shit. We worried about, and then we got these kids. A lot of these teachers are children that are teaching your kids. And I don't want to say children, but they're young adults, 23, 22. They got student loans up the ass. So out of that $65,000 that they're getting, they supposed to pay for supplies that the school can't provide them, live, pay for their car, eat, and pay Sally Mae every goddamn month. What the hell? The math ain't mathing. And Jackie, you bring up another point. These teachers are sitting in classes with 24, 30 kids, 35 kids. I'm not a teacher, so I can say what they not going to say because they don't want to get fired, even though it's a shortage. They don't want to be, because see, if they post online what's really going down, then y'all going to be in the principal's office. Y'all going to be calling for their job and shit. I don't teach. I don't have kids. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to tell you the goddamn truth. The teachers are sick of this shit. That's why they quitting in the middle of the year. That's why they quitting, period. That's why 51,000 teachers quit in May 2023. So now your children are getting taught by people who are not qualified, going through certification programs, and then you wonder why your child don't qualify for scholarships. At this point, I'm going to tell you, I got friends that are teachers. They all starting to work in private schools. It's going to get to a point, and see, y'all giving these people such a hard way to go, not understanding that the government has a stake in this, where the only good American education is going to be the one that you fucking paid for. The era of good, free education, that shit is coming to a goddamn close. Your children are being groomed to work in service industries and high-skilled trade industries. And that's not necessarily bad because you can make a lot of money being a plumber or an electrician. But them hopes and dreams you had about them getting into these Ivy League schools and shit, you're going to be paying Gilman, St. Francis, to get there. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I ain't going to beat the dead horse. It is what it is. Now, speaking of book banning and shenanigans, Ron DeSantis. Okay? So Ron DeSantis, I'm going off today, y'all. I know it's a lot. If you want to donate to the channel, Cash App, Venmo, Dapper Dan Midas, bitch, because I'm going in. This is a lot of research, bitch, so it takes time. Also, too, the show is getting an upgrade sidebar. I now have a sponsor. The paperwork, is going through. They will be sponsoring this, giving background lighting, coming late September, new season of Secretary of Shade with enhancements. But anyway, Ron DeSantis. So, for the third time in less than a month, bitch, Ron DeSantis' campaign announced a major restructuring. This time, removing his embattled campaign manager, Genera Peck, and replacing her with a loyalist from the governor's office as he continues to search for a campaign team and political message that can compete with former President Donald Trump. Donald Trump is still in the lead, by the way, even with indictments, bitch, he's still in the lead. Like, he's still, and not by a little bit, bitch. Y'all probably, some of y'all might not be watching the news. That's why I'm here. By a lot. He's still, in the lead, according to polls, by a lot. A whole lot. So, the reorganization in which a top official at the main pro-DeSantis super PAC will also take on an influential role inside the campaign, caps a turbulent period of layoffs, financial worries, and a shift in strategy for the Florida governor, who is increasingly banking on an Iowa or bust approach. So far, Mr. DeSantis and his message have failed to connect with Republican, this is according to the New York Times, have failed to connect with Republican primary voters or make a dent in Mr. Trump's sizable lead in polls of the nation in the early nominating states. After winning re-election in a landslide last year, Mr. DeSantis built his 2024 candidacy on the idea that he was a more electable Republican than Mr. Trump and a type of politician who could actually accomplish what he promised based on his record in Florida. But he has yet to convince Republican voters. His donors have fretted about his hardline positions, including abortion, that can repel the independent voters he has said he can win over. And while he is putting in the work to hold small town events, particularly in Iowa, he has not flashed the kind of personal magnetism that itself could change the trajectory of the race. Mr. Desantis raised a sizable $20 million in his first weeks, but burned through much of it. And this week, it became clear that his campaign's finances were in worse shape than previously known. Roughly $2.6 million, according to a letter from the Federal Election Commission that detailed donations that were incorrectly labeled for use in the primary race. Politically, Mr. Desantis remains trapped between trying to appeal to the large faction of the party that still likes Mr. Trump and the smaller share that is looking to rally behind an anti-Trump leader. So first off, bitch, you know why Ron DeSantis is not doing well? Because we see what's going on in Florida. We see what's going on. Nobody wants to live in Gilead. The fuck? Your hard line on abortion, your hard line on the gays, your hard line on slavery was a benefit to black people. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? Nobody wants that. Yeah, you want re-election in Florida, but Florida is not the United States. Who you think is going for that shit? Second thing, you have the personality of Brawl. You're not likable. At least Trump, in his first campaign, made me crack the fuck up with some of the hilarious shit that he just outlandish shit he would say out his mouth. At least I had my teeth out with Trump cracking up because I'm like, I can't believe he said this, and he's serious too. But you're not even fucking funny. Like, you're not even funny. And the scary thing is, you dead serious. Like, I still to this day believe Trump only said and did certain shit to keep people. I don't think he personally believes a lot of the shit that he be saying. He can make himself believe it to convey it, but I don't really think he believed that shit. DeSantis really believes some of the horrible shit that he be saying out his mouth. Which lets me know that if he did get in that seat, we think the reversal of Roe versus Wade, affirmative action, was some shit. If Ron DeSantis get in the office, I'm going to have to be doing this goddamn broadcast from a bunker, bitch, and probably get facial surgery to make sure I'm not recognizable. Because we all going to be in hiding in the hut, bitch. It's going to be giving V for vendetta like a motherfucker. Then, even your donors are saying, homie, chill. You went from 20 million to 2.6 million. And you're not getting more money. You know what's crazy? And I might catch flack for this, but if I had to have another Republican president, I would rather have Chris Christie. Not saying that because he's a follower, he went along, he fed into the Trump shit too. But he's a little bit more realistic. I feel like if I'm going to be able to reason with any of these psychos, it's probably going to be Chris Christie. Okay. But, and here's the thing, you fired a campaign manager. Firing a campaign manager cannot fix the fact that you have no personality and the platform that you're running on does not speak to a large portion of the country in which you're trying to be elected to its presidency. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. So Ron DeSantis, and it's, you know what's so crazy? What I like is, I like that how honest Ron DeSantis is, because he don't have a poker face. And when you don't have a poker face, I know I can plot against you. I can knock you out the box. So I actually like that he doesn't have a poker face, because I thought he would have a better poker face than what he has. And he has really showed his hand big time. If the Republican Party plans on having a nominee that is not Donald Trump, it's not going to be Ron DeSantis. It's just not going to be him. He doesn't have the je ne sais quoi. He don't got the fucking money, bitch. And he just dry. He crazy. He's psycho. Psychopath. Okay? Psychopath. Finally, last order of the day. Call the order. Knock, knock. I ain't gonna spend too much time on this man because I do these specials on Donald Trump and these charges, and I feel like they don't go nowhere. His ass still not in jail, so we just gonna do a high-level overview, okay? So, Donald Trump got indicted again. This time, I'm gonna just give y'all the summary. Trump's third indictment is a result of Special Counsel Jack Smith's investigation into alleged efforts by the former president and his allies to overturn the 2020 election. The indictment alleges Trump and a co-conspirator attempted to exploit the violence and chaos at the Capitol by calling lawmakers to convince them to delay the certification of the election. It also alleges another co-conspirator pushed then Vice President Mike Pence to violate the law to delay President Joe Biden's victory. The Trump campaign released a statement shortly after the indictment denying the allegations. Trump pleaded not guilty to all 4 counts. The charging documents repeatedly reference 6 co-conspirators, but as is common practice, their identities are withheld because they have not been charged with any crimes. However, based on quotes in the indictment, we got a pretty good idea who it is. Rudy Giuliani, bitch. So this indictment is the indictment about, not certifying the election, that whole January 6th shit, like all of that, okay? But I don't even want to give this that much energy because I'm like, when are we getting trials? When are we going to jail? When are we getting consequences? It's nice, indictments, they're nice, but when are we getting consequences? That's kind of where I'm at with this. So we're going to see what it gives. And where it goes. But that's our show for tonight, folks. Follow me online at Dapper Dan Midas on all outlets. If you want to donate to the channel and the upgrades coming, you can do that at Venmo and Cash App. $ Dapper Dan Midas at Dapper Dan Midas. You guys have a great evening. It's always a good time being informed. I feel like going on a cruise this weekend. Have a good one.